It's about Philippians today. You know that old song? I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got the joy. We're going to talk about joy today. Day 50. We've been doing this for 7 weeks, y'all. And it's day 50. I got a little bit of gray because I've been doing this, and John, he's lost his hair behind the camera. But hey, we're doing this and we hope you're having a lot of fun. And if this is meaningful to you, share with your friends, share with your family. It's a real treat for us to do this with you. All right. So imagine you're in prison, alone, uncertain, and even maybe facing the threat of death. But somehow you, in the midst of all of what's happening, you're radiating this joy and hope that becomes infectious to people around you. I don't know anyone who would get thrown in prison unjustly and they just start singing in the prison cell. First thing we do, we're whining and complaining, right? So Paul is writing this letter from a Roman prison to the people in Philippi, to the Philippians. And even though he's in prison, his letter also has all of these references to joy, which I think is pretty cool. Philippi is a Roman colony, a place that the Romans really, really invested a lot in. And Paul is writing this letter, number one, to encourage the church to live in the warmth and the hope of Jesus Christ. Paul models his faith. Again, being in prison, a little bit of a side story here. I've been to Philippi and I have actually seen what was believed to be the model of that day where prisoners were kept. And it is a prison cell no bigger than this room where we're doing this recording. So it wasn't, you didn't get your one phone call from the prison. Okay. There was none of that stuff. And yet Paul writes, amid all of this, Paul writes, and here's a key verse in Philippians. He says, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say what? Rejoice. And then in Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Notice Paul is saying that he can do all things, not through his own strength, but through Christ. All right. So Paul planted the church in Philippi, and on his second missionary trip, this is you can find this reference in Acts 16. You notice that they're in prison in Philippi, and there's this mighty earthquake. And so this letter comes near the end of his life when he's facing a lot of persecution, but also he has strong partners in the gospel, right? Philippians has some deep theological truths for us. Number one, Philippians teaches us that life, the Christian life, is a paradox. What does that mean? Paradox means that there are two things that seemingly don't make sense. Number one, the Christian life is about joy, but number two is about experiencing joy while going through suffering. All right, so joy and suffering, they coexist because our ultimate hope is in the victory of Jesus Christ. So if you're going through a tough time this morning or today, I want you to know that your story is also embedded in the Bible. All right, couple of practical takeaways. Number one, cultivate joy that is rooted in Jesus Christ, not in your circumstances. All of us got something we're dealing with, right? Everyone you see every single day, like the old parable will say, be kind to people because everyone you see is carrying a burden. And so cultivate joy in Jesus Christ, not your circumstances. Number two, embrace humility and selflessness in relationship. Do you know that sometimes the greatest gift you can be for anyone is just to be present with them and walk with them in their time of difficulty? So cultivate humility and selflessness. We live in a world today where, hey, I'm not going to do something for you until you do something for me first. That's kind of the world view, right? What Christ calls us to do is to give of ourselves for the sake of others. Number three, press on with faith, right? It's hard to press on these days, but I want to encourage you, press on with faith, knowing that God strengthens you daily. And number four, let your life and your light reflect the gospel of Jesus Christ so that others will see the light of Christ in and through you and hopefully get to know that they're loved by God. So Philippians shows us that joy is possible, and joy sometimes can be a choice, but is also anchored in the unshakable love of Jesus Christ for us today. So no matter what your struggles are today, I want you to know that his joy carries you and he's got you. See you back here tomorrow.